Hello. Hello,
Hi, look
George.
at that. I hit the button to
Hello,
start
Andy.
the stream today, not end it. And I'm allowed to hit buttons because Andy is sitting over there by the one and only George Mitrovic.
So, the reason why George is lying about, I did think first he was just lazy and wanted people to carry him about everywhere. But whilst in Egypt, he was taken ill. And early this morning, he ended up having to go to hospital in London. So I said I'd still come down anyway. We weren't planning on doing the podcast or anything. I said, look, you're on your own. I'll come down. I'll look after you for the day. Just see how it goes and go from there. So he was in the hospital. We got it all sorted. He come out, what, about an hour ago?
Yes.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think it sounds a bit like food poisoning. Thought it was malaria or something at first, but
Who knows?
God knows what
I
it
was
is.
tested for malaria.
Yeah.
I was tested for lots of things.
So,
Plus welts all over my arms from Egyptian mosquitoes.
yeah. So that's the story of why with here George is on the bed and I'm on the comfy leather chair.
But George is a trooper because he still agreed to do a stream with us so we could talk to all of you guys.
Yeah. He instigated it. I was like, only if you are sure you ought to do it.
All right, so we're gonna roll the intro.
To come here,
yeah,
to interview me. I'm not going to fuck you up.
No, look, just to meet you, regardless of the circumstances, is a privilege.
Thank you, and the same with me.
So yeah.
All right, so we're gonna roll the intro, and then we'll be back in 1 minute 6 seconds.
That's the one. See you then.
Let's go.
Hello again. Hello, Nicole.
I'm sorry, that's 2 buttons that I have successfully pressed today, the go live and the intro, without ending the stream.
Do you know how nervous I am right now, knowing that you're in control? No, I'm messing.
Andy is all the way over there. He has no access to his phone to hit anything, so it's all on me right now.
I'm about 5 foot away, so yeah, it's all good. So, the wonderful, amazing George Mitrovic has travelled halfway around the world. He's ended up in London.
To see you.
And he's asked me to come down to interview him. I think during his few hours in the hospital, he wrote about 8 books. Is that right?
It felt like it.
Yeah. So, but we are going to be talking about his books, and obviously any questions that come through, Nicole is going to be doing all of that. So, it's all down to you. No pressure.
Right. No pressure. Hey, I'm good at starting the questions and doing those. So
yeah,
questions in so I can show Andy that I can hit more buttons successfully.
Don't, it's killing me. No, it's not.
All right. So can we talk a little bit about your trip and where you've been and where you're going?
I flew to Dubai a couple of days ago. No, a week and a half ago. And my luggage decided to go to Cairo. But the Fairmont at Dubai was great. They got me a pair of Adidas shorts and a t-shirt, no charge, because I had no clothes.
Yeah.
Mind you, I lost a sports jacket, a lovely sports jacket, and a pair of ballet sunglasses. That's neither here nor there. Then I got to Cairo, and my luggage had arrived in Cairo. So that was good.
Yeah.
I've stayed at the Marriott in Cairo, which is a palace built for Princess Eugenie of France in the 1870s. It is absolutely magnificent, but she never came.
Oh,
Yeah, they built this huge palace for her. She never showed up.
nice.
Wow.
And then I went on a boat trip. We flew to Luxor. I saw the Temple of Karnak and I saw the Little Temple. And I'll be honest, once I walked on into the Little Temple, I started crying.
Really?
It was just so overwhelming. The Little Temple is just, the energy it has is
Yeah.
brilliant. And then a few days later, after going to various temples for the Sobek, the crocodile god, and others, I flew to Abu Simbel. And this may sound strange, but I've wanted to go to Abu Simbel since I was 5.
Oh,
Why is
My
that?
brother was telling me a few weeks ago, he said, I still remember you donging on the piano and crying about Abu Simbel being drowned by the Aswan Dam. I was so distressed by it.
yeah.
I was not an ordinary child.
No, I'm guessing not. I think we've worked that one out anyway. But,
Yes. But to see it is just amazing.
yeah.
But the free flights back weren't amazing. There's nowhere to get water. There was nowhere to get food. It was just 3 different flights that went back to Cairo.
Oh,
So my diabetes wasn't happy. But it was good. We saw the Great Pyramids. We saw everything. It was interesting. We're only a very little group of 7 people.
yeah.
Exclusive little group. And in Cairo, there was us, all in our T-shirts and shorts, and our friend Hassan, who was in a black suit with black sunglasses and an AK-47.
Lovely.
Hmm.
They really protect their
Yeah.
tourist industry now after the Hatchabad massacre
Oh,
a few
yeah,
years
yeah.
ago. And they were ready.
Yeah.
Anyone stuffs it up, just bang.
Wow.
So how were the pyramids?
Yeah.
They're big things.
Did you go in any?
I had a look in one, but it was 4 foot high. I wasn't going to go crawling into it.
No.
I'm not a great pyramidologist. They're lovely. They average 2.5 ton per stone above the ground, same size as a decent sized motor car. So not that heavy. I've got photos at home of the Nias Islanders in Indonesia moving 5 ton stones on rafts they've built
yeah.
on their shoulders.
Jesus.
And one of their fuzzy wuzzy bosses, to use the language of the period, with a big cane, and he's hitting them to keep them going. And that's 5 tons. What people don't realise is the huge stones in the pyramids are underground level.
Yeah.
So you just push them along and down the ramp.
Yes.
You don't have to lift them.
No.
You use,
Well,
I mean,
yeah.
people hate me for what I say, but I follow engineering, I follow archaeology.
Yeah.
If you want to talk about big things, go to Baalbek in Lebanon.
Yeah.
1,600 tons per stone. And there are about 5 of them.
Wow.
Now that's a big stone.
Have you seen that?
No, I can't go to Baalbek. It's all locked away.
Oh, is it? Oh,
Yeah,
I've not heard of it before, to be honest.
it's a very strong Shia stronghold.
Yeah.
They basically don't recommend us to go in, which is a shame.
Yeah. It's.
But no, I enjoyed it immensely, but I think I got food poisoning from the duck à l'orange in the front restaurant. It was
Oh.
beautiful,
Yeah.
but I've had diarrhea all week, which hasn't been good, and dehydrated and all the rest of it. So that's why I was in hospital this morning.
Yeah.
We shouldn't be talking about my health. It just explains why I'm lying here.
Well, when I did mine last week, I was lying in the bed. Not last week, week before.
That was just because he was lazy.
Shattered from travelling and a full day at the conference and
Yeah.
got back and it's laid out. So, yeah. So, are you going to tell them or tell us where you travel if so is staying on schedule due to
Yes.
the health issues?
I'm debating whether to just go back to Australia. It would have cost me 50K because I'd be losing it.
Yeah.
And I don't want to do that. It's a lot of money. And so I'll see how I go over the next few days. I'm going to Glastonbury. I'm going to Avebury. I'm going to Stonehenge. I'm going up into the Cotswolds, up into Dartmoor, seeing all the interesting things, up to Scotland, up to Edinburgh,
Yeah.
then straight down to England. And I thought, that's great.
Yeah.
And it's only a small group again.
Yeah.
The tour group I use is small.
Yeah. So are they based in Oz or?
They're based in England.
Oh, right. Okay.
They're amazing. Just small groups. But, I mean, the hotel, the Marriott Marriott was $1,200 a night.
Whoa.
But it was all included in the package.
Yeah.
With the planes and the boat and all the rest of it.
All the
I thought, I've never been overseas before. My madam was too ill to ever travel.
Yeah.
But tidied all the things up after she passed at Christmas last year. And I thought I just need to go on a holiday.
That's good. What are you most looking forward to seeing if you continue on your trip?
Just seeing everything. I'm doing a river cruise from Bucharest to Budapest. We're stopping at Belgrade. I want to see what Serbians look like because I rarely met any and they're my ancestors and relations.
Yeah.
But we've never met them, talked to them, or done anything with them. I thought,
yeah,
I'm going to see what they are, what they're like, how crazy they are. And then I'll just float down the Danube and nothing really exciting, but it'll be interesting.
Yeah.
It all sounds exciting to me, but I've never been anywhere, so.
Need to get your passport, keep saying.
I know, I will. It's on my list.
No, I'd recommend it.
Yeah.
Just watch out for the mosquitoes in Cairo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so repellent with you, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Or don't eat any French duck.
Yeah, and I ended up with COVID as well.
Yeah.
I've never had COVID. I managed to avoid it for 4 years.
You go, it's all fine. And then get to the UK and that's it. It's just downhill from there on. See you get out of here.
I felt like shit this morning. I could barely move. I won't give anyone any of the finer details of this morning.
No.
Well, we
I
appreciate
got that. I got them, so.
What was that?
I want to know if you will be at Glastonbury for the solstice.
No, not that I know of. We're just going to be passing through there. Solstice is July 22nd, if I remember right.
Well, yeah,
I don't think we'll be then. I don't know.
So
my brain is not working at the moment.
Because you're here to the end of the week.
Yes.
And then you're across the road.
Yeah, I go to another hotel next week.
Yeah.
To go on the tour. Because they
You might be there for the solstice then.
Yeah, I might be. Who knows?
We'll find out.
My brain is sort of fuzzy at the moment.
Yeah. Keep your eye on Facebook because George.
I post everything on Facebook.
So we'll see.
People love my posts on Facebook.
Yes. We love you, that's why.
Yeah.
I'm
glad you do.
So do we have any questions?
That was the only one so far. Everybody's just saying hi. Daryl
Hi,
said
everyone.
great pictures on George's Facebook page.
Yeah.
Next Saturday is the solstice. Og said.
Yeah. I don't know. It's written on a piece of paper I've got on my desk over there. Yeah, I'd like to do all of that. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
I'm feeling better than I did earlier.
Yeah.
Good.
You got a bit more colour.
Yeah. And when Andy first saw me, I was rooted, to use an old phrase.
A little bit yellow, shall we say?
Yes.
So you don't think of any of like the conspiracies about the pyramids or Stonehenge or anything are legit?
No, not at all. I annoy people by the fact that it's all logical, that it's all engineering.
Yeah. Well, we had Stephen Myers on, been on a couple of times talking about the Great Pyramid, and his theory or knowledge is that it was used as a power station.
Yeah. But if it's not powering anything, what's the point of having it?
But whenever it was built, we don't know what the terrain was like. We don't know if there was villages.
Well, apparently, when it was built around 2500 BC, was in the pluvial or rainy period,
Yeah.
when the area around the Great Pyramid was still lakes and grassland.
Ah,
That didn't disappear till about 1500 BC.
right. So they're at least 1,000
Yeah.
years. So
Little details that most people don't think of.
yeah.
Yeah,
Fire
he's been
Spirit wants
pushing
to
that
know
stuff for years.
if the pyramids are covered in litter.
No, there's a lot of litter, but it's not as bad as Cairo streets. The traffic is insane. I mean, how you drive in Cairo, I've got no idea. It's just you point and you keep going.
Yeah. Just look at your destination and head towards it.
Yeah.
That's what I do on a daily basis.
Yeah. Now, at the moment, I'm more interested in my latest book I've written.
And the title
Which one is that?
The temperature is rising, the temperature is falling. It's 2,700 pages, 5 volumes, and it's a linear timeline of periodic UFO cometry and meteoric impacts with the Earth, volcanic eruptions and their effect on weather by causing volcanic winters.
Yeah.
Lots of good fun stuff, which basically will override any tax you're going to pay for the green movement. Because Australia at the moment is still recovering from an eruption at Tonga 3 years ago. It's dropped the temperatures.
Wow.
Wow.
It's cool in Australia. Yeah. Volcanic winters were responsible for the mini ice age, started in the 14th century.
Yeah.
And what happened was, in those days, people died in their masses because they had no food. They couldn't grow anything. They couldn't harvest anything. So they just died.
Yeah.
And so I've written a lot of it. And all my books, as you may notice, or if you haven't noticed, all my books have got bibliographies. Yes, it's a bit strange for an alternative lifestyle person, but you have to know where the details come from, where the theories come from, where the facts come from.
Yeah.
I'm not pulling them out of my ass as being unfair.
Yeah. So they're all.
So there's a lot of work involved.
Yeah.
So what are we
That's
heading
the-
towards now? Heating or cooling?
It's interesting that a full ice age can occur within 30 to 50 years.
Yeah.
Oh.
Did hear that actually
Yeah.
in a week.
And it could be any time, but it's got to get a bit hotter beforehand because it's the heat and the humidity that causes the ice age. And we're in an intermediate period anyway between ice ages. So usually you've got 100,000 years of ice, and then you've got 10,000 years of semi-ice free.
Yeah.
But one thing that I've noticed over the years is everybody talks ice age, ice age, ice age, and it's all over the world, and we're doomed and we're stuffed. And the last great ice age, the thickest ice masses were 2 miles thick in Canada. The North Pole was physically at Hudson Bay in Canada. So you actually didn't have an ice mass going around the world. We had the same ice mass we have now centered on a new position until it was moved out of position by 22.5 degrees around about 9 to 10,000 BC.
Right.
And that's when the poor old mammoths died and everybody else. 1 second they're eating herbs and spices and flowers and trees. And next second, they're snap frozen and stuffed.
Yeah, it's not a good way, is it?
No, poor old mammoths.
Yeah.
And
What do you
nastas
think
and
about them bringing back the mammoths?
Oh, why not? He'll be lonely, though. Or
Yeah.
she.
Did you see they brought back dire wolves supposedly?
Apparently they have. But I'm always a little wary unless I see the data and the data chain.
Yeah.
So much stuff appears and it's a great big discovery. I'll give you a big discovery. About 2010, I wrote a book, or I published a book called When the Sky Fell Down. It was on all meteor and cometary impacts from the beginning of time on Earth with a meteor with an impact crater over 1 kilometre in size. So good size.
Yeah.
The third oldest one is at Barberton in South Africa in the Greenstone Belt. And it's 60 miles long by 20 miles wide. And it's a cometary impact. And I was looking around for something interesting to pad it out. And one of my books on fossil archaeology, and I came across a little bacteria called Hesperoides barbatonus.
Hmm.
And the interesting thing about Hesperoides barbatonus is that it dates back to 3,260 million years BCE, and that was the same date as the comet that hit the Earth. I brought it up with a top rating Australian show, science show on the Socialist Network.
Yeah.
And they basically said, "You're a maverick scientist. We can't tell anyone about this." And I said to him, "So you wouldn't have done any of the work of a young guy working in a patent's office in Vienna early this century? And if you forgot his name, it's Albert Einstein.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have worried about Rutherford's early work when he was still a teenager and others." Oh, no, that's all different. So what's all different?
Yes.
What is all different? So this is a major discovery. And you're telling me that because I'm a maverick scientist, we're not talking about it. So I basically told them to go fuck themselves, and that was about it. That was the last time I ever talked with Catalyst.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to suffer fools gladly.
So did you speak to anyone else about it? Did anyone take it in or contact you about it?
No. But last year, a Japanese group made the great discovery about it.
No.
So I sent a message to them that I'd publish it in 2010.
Yeah.
Because I do that when I come up with my discoveries.
Yeah.
Like another group about a year and a half ago came up with the trans-Plutonian planet in the Oort cloud. That was the 9th planet. Yay! And I wrote that I'd written about that in 2010.
Yeah.
Using a way of determining periodicities in the major planets and their relationship to strange phenomena on Earth and electromagnetic phenomena on Earth. And, no one's ever mentioned that theory. I think it's still a bit too strange for them. But no, they keep coming up with them, and I just say, right, well, I already did this.
Yeah.
I mean, when Hancock first came up with the first comet that hit the Earth, 8 to 10,000 BC, I told him I'd already published that in 1979, and there were dozens of comets.
Yeah.
Ranging from nearly 2,500 miles wide, where where Bermuda is.
Yeah.
And Bermuda itself is the central uplift. So if you think of dropping a rock into a glass of milk, the milk rises, and as it comes down, it freezes. So the island is the central uplift, And what made it more interesting is, as it headed northwest, the craters got smaller and smaller and smaller till there were a multitude of them in
Right.
Siberia.
Yeah.
After leaving Alaska, people say, no, these are all wrong. You're an idiot. And I said, go to this site. I got it all from. It's a major Russian site to do with cometary and meteoric collisions.
Yeah.
And they've been working on it for years. Little things.
Yeah. So, does anyone? I don't know about you asked, but does anyone contact you asking for more information?
No,
Do you think they go behind your back and do the research themselves? And
they probably do it independently.
yeah,
Then I remind them that, hang on, I wrote about it.
yeah,
Yeah, so it annoys me. It pisses me off no end. There's so many different discoveries I've made, and they're all.
yeah. See how about it.
Yeah, it's sad, but at
Yeah.
least I made them.
Yeah, but like I said, yourself, you know you've done it, so
Yeah, it's still not fun.
no.
Yeah.
I'll look.
But it's
to,
out there.
Mrs.
Like you can
Sally.
see when you publish your books versus when it became more mainstream.
Yeah. Yeah, I was there well before mainstream.
So you never know; they might refer to your books.
They're starting to
okay.
refer to concepts I brought up with, interestingly enough, without acknowledging me.
Oh,
One is teardrops. A teardrop is a large meteor crater, followed by a smaller one, a smaller one, a smaller one. So in total, they look like a teardrop.
yeah.
And now they use the term teardrops. Amazing. And there's also another term, longitudinal impacts.
Yeah.
Where the impacts are running along latitude or longitude.
Yeah.
I wrote about them years ago.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, sometimes I wonder. When I first wrote that book on impacts, I had somebody write a 2.5-page diatribe on how I was wrong.
Well,
I thought I must have really bit him on the arse,
that's
because he wrote it within 24 hours of me publishing it.
wow. Like he was waiting.
Yeah,
Mhm.
they're morons.
I'm saying nothing.
I do.
Oh, this is for you. So, the book, the 5-book set.
Yes.
So when did that come out? Is it out?
I
is it out
started
yet?
it on the 16th of September 2023.
Yeah.
I finished it about 4 weeks ago.
Yeah, 'cause I remember you messaged me and said you need to get this book.
I
finished
worked on it for
da.
every day from that time for 8 to 10 hours a day,
Wow.
because the order has to be correct. Everything has to be correct. And Madam said, this is your most important.
Yeah.
She said, you've really got to push this book. It's your most important one. And, you know, I will.
Yeah.
You know, she asked me to promise to do it, and I shall continue doing it.
Yeah.
You know, and if people don't like it,
What's
oh,
that?
Christ, all it is geology and cometary impacts.
Yeah.
What do? Let's forget about them.
Well, there's a lot of ignorance in that stuff that's going on. So
It's called the hegemonic oligarchy, which is a lovely academic term. It basically means that you will study in school the accepted tenets of what the paradigm is. Then you'll study it in university according to the accepted tenets.
yes.
If you don't do the accepted tenets, you're out.
Yeah.
You have to be in it.
But sure, see, I have this conversation a lot, and this is a lot where we go down the rabbit holes with Brandon and Don. Surely these theories or knowledge changes throughout the years with different. Oh, what's the word? Oh, what's it called? When you fact like no, it's
Like
called
evidence? Like different evidence?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when they collect new evidence
Yeah.
to go, oh, we've got this bit wrong.
Ah,
It is
But
this,
they don't do that.
I know,
They
but
never say they're wrong.
So they get the new evidence, goes, right, that bit's wrong, so that changes that, so then that will create this to get to that.
No, it doesn't work like
And
that.
they
don't
don't
do that.
do anything like that.
Ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys, let me tell you about the story of Louis Leakey. Louis Leakey worked at Olduvai Gorge in Kenya. He invented the science of paleontology. His team found Lucy. And if you know of paleontology, she's one of the most famous relics yet, plus many, many others.
Yeah.
He was the one who said all of these things are millions and tens of millions of years old. And everyone said, yay, God, he's published lots of books.
Yeah.
Louis Leakey went to the States. He went to Calico in Texas and another place I can't remember off the top of my head. And he said, there are these little things called eoliths, which are little spear points. They're only small. And he said, these are 250,000 years old, these eoliths.
Yeah.
And American science said, you're wrong, you silly old fool. Why is it he was right in Tanganyika, in the Great Rift Valley, and he suddenly became a dick with ears once he was in North America? It's like, I got into an argument on Facebook the other day. I mentioned, everyone's going on about, oh, the American archaeology goes back to at least 18,000 years. And I mentioned, you might have to extend that to 250,000 years when you refer to the mammoth remains at Hueatlico, south of Mexico City. And just an interesting point, weapons can only go into fresh mammoth bone, not solid mammoth bone.
Yeah.
And these spear points were in fresh mammoth bone. And I got these dickheads going, you're wrong, you're full of shit, blah, 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 blah. I grabbed the Nature article
Right.
that explained it all.
Yeah.
You don't argue with Nature.
No.
Or with another one called Quadrant. I posted both of them.
Yeah.
And I said, you want to argue with me? Here, read both of these. Proper, written, validated accounts. They shut up.
Yeah.
They usually do.
Did we block you?
Oh, who cares?
They normally block and vanish, don't they?
Yeah. I'm fighting with some dickhead in an English architecture site who said that we shouldn't believe anything I write about architecture because all I do is write about Bigfoot, which means I'm lying to people.
Oh.
And I just responded with, I really thought this was an architecture site.
Yeah.
Another place where you cast derogatory comments about me.
Well, no, that's two separate topics.
So I'm not posting to them again. I really enjoyed it. But that's the way it is. That's the way it's always been with me.
Yeah.
Because I have to find what's different. I have to find what's out there.
Yeah.
But it's funny because when they do find that new evidence, you think like logically, scientifically, they would rethink it, but they don't. If it doesn't fit their given narrative, they throw it out.
Yeah.
They just hide it.
Yeah.
It's sad because there's so much knowledge.
Well, no.
I work on linking knowledge bases together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Making the connection.
Yeah, I collate things. I've been regarded as the best collator of information on the planet by one of North America's foremost. Is a brilliant interviewer, Jeff Lippman.
Right.
He's a lawyer from Baltimore.
All right. Okay.
And he is brilliant. You know, he gives you hard questions, and I enjoy them. But even he said, you know, you've accomplished all of this, you published all of this, and everyone just says, it's bullshit. But the advantage of my books is they're all going to be in thrift shops one day.
Yes.
Where people will be reading them long after all the electro systems have perished.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because I'm saving the data. That's primarily what I'm doing. I'm saving data. I know people like calling it data. I don't like the word, so I don't use it. Data sounds better.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's the good thing too. Like with written hard copy books, you have it in your hand. It's physically there. Nobody can get rid of it unless, I mean, you burn them but like
Yes.
everything online can be wiped out if they want it to be.
Yes. I mean, I've got enormous books. I mean, some of them are up to 1,700 pages.
Wow.
And the last one is 2,740 pages. The Summation is a separate book on its own, because as I wrote at the beginning of it, I know you haven't read the first 4 volumes and you haven't read the beginning, so I'm giving you the beginning again. So you can
That's
read.
one way of doing it.
Yeah. But people won't go near it. Not one person has bought a copy of it yet.
Yeah.
That's because they don't know where they're going to put it.
Yeah, you can use it as a doorstop.
But it's like you said, though, it's like people probably not bought it because they believe what they want to believe. A lot of people don't believe the truth because it's too easy to follow a lie than to accept what is really going on.
Yeah.
So
It's too easy.
it is. Just go, like I say, and go with the narrative.
Yeah. And another thing I was so frenzied about writing this set of books is I don't know how long I've got left. As I mentioned to Andy, when I get back to Australia, I've got a major cancer operation. So anything could happen. But the thing is, these books are there. They're all on Amazon.
Yeah.
All 140 of them, plus more. Probably more. I never count them.
Probably about 8,000.
That idiot on the architecture side, he said, "Oh yes, out of all of your billions of books."
I just said, "Oh, no, I've not done that then."
No, I could be bothered responding to him. Probably lives in a council flat somewhere.
Yeah.
I'm sorry I'm not an exciting person today.
No, you are.
You are.
She's saying it as it is, and that's what we like.
That's what I've always done.
BS.
So nickname Nickname wants to know, I hope you gave George an Alienate sticker, Andy.
Do you wanna? I brought a bag with key rings and stickers.
He spoiled me. He even got me this.
I'll give him that
Wow.
because he's like, he lives at the other side of the world, and that is my first printed merch T-shirt that I ever got.
Wow.
So
that's a nice gift.
I'll give him that.
Very nice.
So.
And then one more comment, Kurt W. says, "Hey Andy, great to see you, brother. Finally made it to a live. It's hard with where I'm located here in Pennsylvania. Hope all are having an amazing Saturday."
Yes. Hi, Kurt. Yes. That's right. I'm just trying to remember his profile picture, and he's dressed in yellow. Please correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah.
It's like a yellow alien.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So good. Yes.
I wish people had asked me for interviews about Bigfoot. Being I've written more about it.
The Bigfoot.
Yeah, because I've written more about Bigfoot than any other author on the planet. I mean, there's one set of books which I think is 9 volumes, only for North America. And I think it's close to 2,000 pages in chronological order with maps. So you can actually see where events are occurring. And would you believe, in California, the main Bigfoot events are around Los Angeles.
See, I have got a question for you.
Okay.
Because I've been into Bigfoot quite a lot recently. So, someone said about, everyone keeps going on about the missing link between humans and apes. Yeah.
There's no such thing as a missing link.
That's what they said. They said, what if, because they have to do the what if. They're not going to say that it's definitely not. What if there is no missing link? What if this is it?
It's an adaptation.
Yeah.
It constantly adapts. It doesn't suddenly throwing and here's a Bigfoot.
It's a gradual.
It's all gradual. It's how they evolve and then disappear and evolve and disappear. I mean, I get into shit with people. I've given you my viewpoints before on Randy and Andy are in the forest and they need to relieve themselves and
Off the tree.
And next second, in Australia, relieve yourself has got a totally different meaning, but Americans can be very weird at times. And this is one of the most common sightings of all. Nobody, oh no, you don't write that stuff. Oh no. And next second, somebody's screaming, yelling, stinks, throwing stuff at them and carrying on.
Yeah.
This is simian anthropology 101. And the next most common event is Randy and Sandy, who's a female, not Andy.
Yep.
They're in the forest. It's 2:00 in the morning. They're obviously studying for their SATs.
Yes, of course.
The next second, this big face appears. It's all furry with red eyes. And I said, that's so many times that is reported. Next time you go to the zoo, watch them. Watch the simians watching each other fucking themselves stupid. Watch for bonobos getting involved completely anyway. They don't just watch.
Yeah.
But then we start getting into weirder realms, like the Wendigo and things like that, and the incredible speed that some Bigfoot travel on.
Yeah.
And, you know, I said a lot of it's been done about that. You can find any number of books. A lot of people like the Wendigo and the strange theories, and pardon me itching, it's killing me. And then I said, well, now I'm going to throw another cactus into the ring. 1954, France. 9 times in 1954 during the biggest UFO flap in French history. We had UFOs going, ramp comes down, and a little furry thing with big eyes comes out that's 3.5 foot tall. Excuse me? Excuse me, a little foot, not a big foot?
Yeah.
And then
Like
in
the things in
1960,
Pennsylvania, the little feet.
yeah, little feet. And then in 1968, that's when it changed. There were sightings in Pennsylvania of big feet coming out of UFOs. Once again, and 8.5 foot tall. I don't know whether it was wearing a bandolero or not, but it came out, it looked around, it chased people at Uniontown in Pennsylvania. Then it got back to the ship and took off. And that was 7 years before Star Wars.
Wow.
Mm.
Maybe they
interesting.
inspired Star Wars.
You know, just little details.
Mm-hmm.
So we now have interstellar hairy hominids.
Nickname wants to know, what is your top Bigfoot case?
What?
Your top. What's your favourite Bigfoot story? Encounter?
Oh, I have one, but it's very long and I haven't got it with me. It's set in the 1950s when no one was interested in Bigfoot in Tennessee. And it's the story of an older lady in the 1970s, remembering when she was a child. And she remembered a creature called Whistling Paddy. Whistling Paddy used to come to their back door at night. They're all poor people. They lived in the backwoods. But they fed Whistling Paddy because he whistled. The real wording is just beautiful. And they give him potato peelings, even if they couldn't spare them themselves. And these people were poor.
Yeah.
They were Amerindian. They weren't educated, but they knew how to fix up wounds with spider webs and things like that. And so many times Paddy would come around and the aunties would say, don't go too close to him, he's all right. And I thought, this is the most beautiful Bigfoot sighting I've ever met, because it was from a young girl, and told by her, 30, 40 years later.
Yeah.
And that's my favourite one. I think it's beautiful.
Yeah, he did actually tell that when we did the Christmas special a couple of years ago.
I read it out.
Yeah, so if anyone wants a full story on that, just go to George's interview of Christmas. I'm going to say 2023, possibly 2022.
I think more like 2022.
I think it was.
Probably 22.
Yeah, 22.
Yeah, it was
It's Christmas special.
It was my George Mitrovic
Yeah,
Christmas special.
it was. So
I enjoyed it immensely.
they're all good.
Yeah.
I'm just sorry I'm basically flat out at the moment. But
It's fine.
That's okay. We're doing good. We're doing a short show today, Andy. Let George rest.
What time are we on now?
45.
You all right for another 15?
Yeah.
Do another 15.
Do you ever
Okay.
think
Then I'll come round the other side of the camera.
you've ever heard me do an interview less than 45 minutes?
Less than 6 hours.
Yeah. Yeah, my interviews do tend to go on for hours.
They're all good.
People keep asking me questions.
I know.
That's it.
But we'll
keep
go easy on you
answering
today.
Right, I have another Bigfoot question.
Okay.
What are the sightings in either Australia or New Zealand, like Southern Hemisphere? Are there many? Because you've got the Yowie.
Yeah, we've got the Yowie, the Dooley Guards, all the different names for the same thing. Plus for little feet as well.
Yeah.
Little feet and
Do
big
you
feet.
get many from the natives?
Yeah,
Is that mostly where it comes from?
a lot of it is,
Yeah.
but it also depends on the area. Because my books have maps,
Yeah.
that's what my books are dearer, because they've got maps. Maps cost a fortune.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So you can see where the clusters are occurring, where they're not occurring, where they're travelling across.
Yeah, because I only realised this a few months ago that Australia, you mostly live around the coast.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's too hot.
Yeah.
Desert in the centre.
Yeah.
So, do you get many sightings in rural, suburban areas?
Yes. Yeah, the Blue Mountains near Sydney,
Yeah.
and Bigfoot Central,
Ah.
the hinterland of the Gold Coast, in Queensland,
Yeah.
Bigfoot Central.
Yeah, so I've got family that way.
Yeah, lots of different ways.
So
Lots of different
are there many
spots.
UFO? Can't speak again. Are there many UFO sightings, encounters, stroke Bigfoot sightings at the same time, or are they generally just randomly?
If you look at maps, they're all in the same spots, oddly
Yeah.
enough. And that's where my old theory comes in, which I've mentioned numerous times, and that is that what got me interested in all of this stuff was when I was about 7.
Yeah.
As I said, I'd already been waiting about the Aswan Dam.
Yeah.
And about 7, I'd already read Leonard Cottrell's Valley of the Kings and other books. And I was wondering, and I developed a pretty good library by then.
Yeah.
And I thought, this is weird. This is not logical. On one side of this mountain, you've got a Virgin Mary sitting in a tree and being seen by this group of people.
Yeah.
You go to the next other side of the mountain, and it's Orthon from Venus is coming with a message for the world. You're all stuffed.
Yeah.
It never happens.
Yeah, see, I don't
And then
get that.
you go further around, and people are seeing Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Or a lake monster. I thought, why are they seeing these things? And then I realised it got nothing to do with phenomena. It's time and space.
Right.
That the energy levels
Change.
occur, and the witness translates whatever they see into something they can recognise.
Yeah.
Or they go stark raving mad. And people don't like that one. But unfortunately, that's what I've worked it out as being. That if you are coming from another dimension and you're turning into pure matter, because we're only looking at light,
Oh, yeah.
anything's possible.
And we see it upside down as well.
Yes.
So, yeah. because yeah, some of the things that I've had go on recently, I won't keep going on about that. The not air balloon that I've seen twice. I actually got a new subscriber on the train on the way down here, but that's another story.
That's
Anyway,
good.
it was like it. What it looked like wasn't what it actually was. I'll show you the photos. You've probably seen it, but and it's just things like that. First glance, it's like, oh, it's that, and you won't think twice about it. But it's just that little thing that makes you think there's something not quite right about it.
Yeah.
And that's when you do that little bit more investigating and you come up with more questions than answers.
Yeah. Well, Desmond Leslie in the 60s brought up the concept of demonology in UFOs. And that's where we got our concepts of UFO people, fairies and whatever, goblins and you name it. Because they're all translating it in their own way.
Well, do you think that's why it's a progression of, like saying back in the day, it was fairies, goblins.
Yeah, it matches the
It matches
culture.
what's going on. Yeah, because didn't they used to see people like flying ships with the sails, like the pirate ships? People used to see them in the sky.
Like in the
it was nuts and bolts, which I've seen nuts and bolts UFOs, but now it's more. I've seen plasma ones as well.
Yeah.
So you're getting the more organic.
Yeah. It's like in the 1897, 1896, during the Great American Airship Flood, there were all these airships that couldn't fly if they tried. Reported.
Yeah.
They'd have a propeller on the front and the back, and on the top.
Yeah.
So you couldn't fly this thing if you tried. But people were seeing it everywhere.
Yeah.
Because
they're trying to fit into what we know.
They were trying to see the future of what would happen.
Yeah, I suppose it's like, let's go back to like the Men in Black or even Black Eyed Kids, where I'm going to go with the skin suit. When they try and look human, there's always one or two little things that are not quite.
Like brand new Chevrolets.
Yeah, and it's just, they're trying to get the concept of what being human is, but they can't quite grasp it.
Aren't.
And it's that just like one little detail.
Yes.
Like say the black eyes on the shoes don't fit, or the skin looks baggy on one arm and it's tight on the other. Just like John Keel put when he's West Virginia, the Mothman. There's all them different accounts and stuff like that, and there's loads of new ones as well. Like with Alvarez, if you speak to him about all the humanoid stuff. So
he's brilliant. Brilliant
amazing.
work on humanoids.
I know he does need the car below, so if anyone's in the Florida area, he's more than willing to go and clean it for him. I'll tell you that story in a bit. But it's just the little details that it stands out. So it's the same sort of thing. Like it's exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
It's just that one little bit that 99% of people won't recognise, but it's just that one person will pick up on it.
Yes.
And they're like, right, what's not fitting there?
No, you have to spot the differences.
Yeah.
Not the things.
Yeah, it's literally that.
It's like with my books. Most people, when they write a book, is they come up with a hypothesis. Wonderful word. Hypothesis. And then they go and grab information from everywhere to justify it.
Yeah.
A monkey can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My books, I collate the data in chronological order and see what starts coming out of it. It's got nothing to do with my belief systems or disbelief systems. It is, what is this data telling me?
Yeah.
And then quite often I'll come to the end of something, whereas people have said when they've read our books, we were going along really well, and then we thought that you'd finally got it and it's right, and then you'll come along with, but we allow for this.
Yes.
And then it's all gone again.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It's literally, you are thinking you're just getting to know exactly what's going on. And same again, it's that little thing.
Yeah.
Because that little thing doesn't make sense. It just throws everything out again.
Yeah.
It's finding all those different.
But I love that. Yeah. I actually do love that. So But I know Nicole has got a question. We've not asked George this, have we? The question. The
Oh,
question.
the question. Andy's not allowed to ask it because Andy tries to
I
persuade
kind of like
people.
sway you into my way of thinking when I ask it.
Uh-huh.
So
I'm
I
not
will
a fan.
ask it. If you
Well,
could know everything about Bigfoot, UFOs, paranormal, God, everything, would you want to know?
I basically know all of it. I've written on all of it. I've researched
yeah,
all
but
of it.
true.
if someone, some source came to you and said, "Look, I can give you 100% knowledge of what everything is, whether there's a connection there or not."
Could I justify it? Is there proof that the source is correct?
Yeah, so it is the knowledge from everything that's
Because
creating the
Hear a lot of
this
stuff about the
phenomenon.
emerald tables and everything else.
Oh no, this is like, so this is the phenomenon coming to you and saying, I can tell you everything, exactly what it is.
Yeah, well, I'd like to know
Would
the
you
actual
want to know?
mechanism for the transmogrification of light into matter before of our sightings.
Right, you get all this knowledge.
Yeah.
Would you want to know the knowledge?
Yes.
But then there's no chase. This is where
And this is where Andy tries
There will always
to
be a
sway
chase.
you.
No, because you know everything. There's nothing else.
There will always be parameters coming from it.
See, I wouldn't want to know. I like
Another
the not
thing?
knowing. I like the trying to figure it out.
No one will ever know all. It's impossible.
Yeah, hypothetically speaking.
Well, hypothetically speaking, I'd rather continue researching.
Yes. See, Nicole?
No, he said he wants to know everything
Team-
first, and then you
team
changed the
answer.
question.
No, no.
Uh-huh.
No.
But I like what you said about verifying, because somebody will always come down and tell you like they have all the answers, but how do you know their answers are the right answers?
That's why I have bibliographies in all my books.
There you go.
So you can find the sources. As I say, don't argue with me. Argue for people who put their cojones on the line and publish this stuff before. Whether I
Right.
agree with them or not.
So we are coming up on the hour then. I put up links to Amazon author page where everybody can find all of your books and your website. Anything else you
Oh,
want
that's
to?
useless, that thing.
Oh, don't worry about the website.
Okay.
Go to my Facebook page, but not the author Facebook page. Oh, then again, put some pretty strange stuff on the other one. Oh,
Just go to both of them.
What?
Just you go to both of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most
Just
of
look
the
them up on
stuff I put on is on my just George Mitrovic page, not George Mitrovic author, because I forget to update it.
Yeah.
All right. You guys got anything else before I
No.
hit the outro button?
No, don't hit the outro button just yet. So, updates. We have got Louis Snooks on Wednesday. I was saying yesterday when I did the stream that RPG has confirmed that's a Wednesday after Gettysburg. So Ryan, I can't remember his surname. Gobiseki, is it?
Yeah, something like that. I can't pronounce it,
Yeah.
but that's what it is.
Well, RPG anyway from Expedition Bigfoot. He confirmed on Thursday that 100% is going to be coming on. So, and then everyone else is going to follow suit. And yeah, we've just got guests right up until the week, 2 weeks before Halloween. And we are going to be doing a Halloween special. It is going to be on a Friday because Halloween is on Friday the 31st this year. It's always on the 31st, but it's a Friday. You know what I mean? So we're going to be doing something different for that. Can you make that one, Nicole? Because I keep forgetting to ask you. And if not asking, I'll forget.
I don't know. I have to take the kids trick or treating.
Yeah, but it's only going to... You'll be done for 5:30.
Yeah.
Yeah? So
We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it.
So we're doing the Halloween special on the 31st. Nicole will be with us. I'm not sure what we're going to be doing yet. It could possibly be pre-recorded. That might work. Yeah.
Or we can just move it up a little earlier in the day. I can see if I can get out earlier that day. We'll work it out.
Yeah. We'll sort something out.
Yeah,
So,
I won't miss the special.
We've got that, and we are going to be doing quite a lot of live streams from Gettysburg.
Mhm.
Also, which I mentioned yesterday, I have done a GoFundMe. It does say for the Gettysburg investigations, but it also goes towards the channel and helps out with everything to do with the channel. So all I need is 500 people to donate £1 or $1, and we've got everything covered. And that is it.
All right. Well, thank you, George, for still coming on and doing the.
Andy went out of his way to come here. I was not going to leave him alone.
I was not going to leave him in hospital
This what I was thinking this morning.
on his own, not knowing anyone or anything. So it was the least it could do.
You're a good bloke.
So
He is a good one. All right. So we will see you all on Wednesday with.
Yes.
Who are we with on Wednesday?
Go on.
Who are who's on Wednesday? Who's our guest?
Oh, Louis Snooks.
Okay, so we'll see you on Wednesday with Louis.
Yeah, so he's one of the guys that Brandon put us in contact with from the
Very
UK.
good. All
So,
right.
yeah, that's
See you
it.
then.
Oh, just before you go,
Goodbye.
are we done?